Find the equation of the line through two given points. This chapter introduced kind of a new twist on this, and it involves solving a system of equations. So if we think about the equation of any line, it's of the form y equals mx plus b. And when I'm given 2 points like this, I'm given two different xy values, right? There's an xy value here, and there's an xy value here. Well, one of the things that we saw we could do is we could create two different equations in which we replace the xy values into this y equals mx plus b. And once we do that, we're going to have two equations with the variables m and b. So it's a way of solving to figure out what the slope and y-intercept are. So this was the technique. There's other techniques, and you can definitely review and use some of those previous ones. But let's try this. So I'm going to begin by writing the equation -5 equals m times -5 and then plus b. Now maybe you can see this. I've got here an x value, and I plugged it in here, and I also have this particular y value, and I plugged it in here. So I'm going to do the same thing with the other point that we have. This time I'm going to write -1 equals m times a 5 and then plus b. And again, if you look, this is the x value was 5. I put a 5 here, and the y value was -1, and I placed -1 here. Now what's nice about this is perfectly set up for solving using elimination, because if you look at my my m terms here are opposites. I've got a -5m and a +5m in the top and bottom. So if I combine these, on the left hand side I end up with -6. That's what -5 plus -1 is. On the right hand side I ended up getting 0m, right? These cancel out. But I still have the plus 2b, so there's a 2b here. And then to solve for b, I divide both sides by 2, and I get that -3 is what b is. So I know that my y-intercept is 3. That's definitely part of my answer. I've got this value b all dialed in. But I do need to know what my slope is still. And I'm just going to plug this value of b into either one of our equations here. I'm going to choose to use this second equation. So I'm going to say -1 equals, and I'll write it as 5m, same thing as m times 5, and then plus b is a -3. So -1 equals 5m minus 3. Now I'm going to go ahead and add 3 to both sides of this equation. Over here that gives me 2 equals 5m. And then finally I'm just going to divide both sides by 5. So m, my slope is 2/5. So up 2 over 5. So I know my slope and I know my y-intercept, therefore I know the equation of the line that goes through those 2 points. It is y equals 2/5 times x and then minus 3.